Hello everyone and welcome back. You can hear the T-Rex right there. But welcome back to Eats Your Beef. I know I didn't release a video last week. I was actually really busy moving into my new home. So it's a big thing. I'm very excited and we have tons of great stuff coming, specifically in the reef tank side. So you guys have probably been seeing I haven't been doing very many updates on the previous 50-gallon tank. And I'll just sum it up real quick for you. When I set up that tank, I knew I was going to mainly have it in the apartment I was in. And I'm not one to have multiple tanks. As you guys have probably seen in the past, every time I have one tank running, I like to just have one because, let's face it, anytime you have multiple tanks, you tend to neglect one or another. That's not saying for sure, but that's just how I am personally. So in that, I don't like having multiple tanks. I like having one tank that I can take care of, that I can keep in tip-top shape. That's just how I am. So with that being said, the 50-gallon has already been shut down. It's not running. It was very difficult. That's also why I didn't add a lot of fish after. I didn't add a lot of corals after, because I knew this time was approaching. This last thing I would want to do is add either or and have a huge coral loss. Luckily, I have a local friend, my neighbor Josh. He's actually taking care of the corals I had in there, so nothing really to worry about. So I know a lot of you guys are saying, so what's next? What are you going to be doing? What are the plans for the future? And I'm glad you asked. We're actually going to be upgrading the tank. So we are going to be getting a bigger tank. You're probably saying, what brand, what tank, what size? That I'm be saving for a future video, probably about 2-3 weeks out. But trust me, it's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be a very big upgrade. I think you guys are going to be very pleased. So I'm happy to say we're finally here inside the new house. You can see this is kind of the formal living room. You can see my pool in the background. We got a big area here, then dining room, and the kitchen and the stairs are over here this way. Believe it or not, when I was looking for a property, one big thing that was on my mind was, where am I going to put the reef tank? That was a very important thing for me when I was home shopping. I know a lot of you guys out there that are reefers, anytime you go home shopping, you're probably thinking the same thing I am. You're like, where can I put the reef tank? It was very important to me that wherever the tank was going to go, in that room, there was going to be very little furniture. So all the attention can be drawn and thrown to the reef tank. I didn't want to put it in a place where there's a lot of other furniture where it may take away from it. I just want that room that when you walk in, you immediately are greeted with a tank. It's also very important that wherever the tank is, it's somewhere that's not a big traffic area. I know the 50-gallon, I had it right next to the kitchen. The fish are always getting spooked. Ideally, I wouldn't have a reef tank in a high traffic area if it could be avoided. It's also very important to me that the reef tank be in a place that could be enjoyed. I could put a couch somewhere close to it and be able to look at it and enjoy it. That's actually something I haven't been able to do in the JBJ or the 50-gallon. They weren't in a place that I could sit down and just look at the tank and really enjoy it. So with that being said, you guys can probably take a look around, and I'm sure you can guess where the tank is going. One thing I like about this home, it has very high ceilings. I mean, those things are easily over 15 feet high. But you're probably saying, I think I know where you're going to put the reef tank. This, believe it or not, this was an option. I wanted it on this wall. I think this wall is about 7-8 feet. The problem is when you enter, I didn't want you to come in through the door and kind of be running into the tank here. You could see. So you'd be walking in. This is the first thing you see. I just didn't like that because you kind of have to go around the tank to then walk into the home. So that was out of the question. I thought about here, but then I was like, no, there's windows. I really like the porch there. I'd love to use this also to put a Christmas tree, a really tall Christmas tree, so that was enough. Over there was actually possibly an option, but then again, that's a dining table area. The family room over there, I thought about it, but then I'm like, the family room, there's going to be high traffic, a lot of people. So what's next? This wall right here. So this wall from that window to that window, I think it measures, I would say, a good solid 17-20 feet. So it's a very very big wall right there. Obviously the height, no issues. So that's exactly where the new reef tank is going to be going. It's going to be going right here. So we're going to have a different dining table. This is our old dining table. We just have it there momentarily. But the new dining table is going to come out to right about here. So it still leaves me a good 15 feet of wall where I could put the tank. We got power right down there. Obviously none of this is going to be here. And I'm going to have a couch probably right here. So when you first enter, I'll kind of show you guys a view of when you enter the home. So when you come in, you're going to come in like this, and then as soon as you turn left, you're going to be greeted with a beautiful tank right there. Now believe it or not, I did think about doing a peninsula, but I thought it would break up the room a little bit too much for this scenario. So we're just going to be doing a standard tank. Now, I'm not going to announce what tank yet. I'm not going to announce the size. Like I said, that's going to be for a few other future videos. Another thing that was very important to me, or for me to cover when I was looking for a property, was water changes. Whether I decide to do a method that does them or doesn't do them, you're better off being prepared than later not being prepared and having to mix a ton of water. Again, I haven't announced the size, but you'll know later why I'm going to be setting up a big mixing station. Because I'd hate either for an accident, God forbid an accident, the tank cracks, and me just not be prepared. So we are going to have RODI water, about 60 gallons, and we're going to have about 60 gallons of stored salt water as well. So another important thing was to have a garage that had the space for it. So the garage I'm standing in right now, it'll fit 2 cars comfortably, has plenty of storage on either side. You can see either, so you can easily fit 2 cars in here, and you still have ample room on both the right and the left. One thing that I really loved about this property, I don't know exactly what this was, but it's like a little step up from the garage area here. It's about 6 inches high, and then you have all that back there. So as you guys know, I do have a hobby, another hobby as well. I do RC planes and helicopters, big ones. This is just one of them. There's another one in the box. My helicopters are with my buddy. But that's another thing. I have to balance having the space for my little workstation to do any woodworking I do on these things, on my models, but also need to balance enough space for the reef tank, right? So a very important thing to me was a utility sink. I really wanted a utility sink. I was sick and tired of always cleaning the skimmer, cleaning, just tons of equipment on a regular sink or in the bathroom and having to go down a drain. So a very important thing for me was to get a utility sink. Luckily, I've planned an area where to put it. So if you guys can envision, this is kind of the look I'm after, a mixing station just like this. So we're gonna have the utility sink, we're gonna have a big old rectangle 60-gallon container right here, followed by a salt one containing RODI, one containing salt, and that's it. So right here in these 2 locations is where the containers are going to go, utility sink, and any other goodies reef tank related are going to be going in these 2 right here. So it gives me plenty of storage to store my salt. You can see here my Tropic Marin salt. That's actually what I am going to be using. I got that ready to go down here on the bottom. I got my KHD here, all in storage. Everything's in storage. One important thing, guys, when you are storing your equipment, very important to store your pH probes in some salt water. You can see I have it here. Make sure you don't let them go dry. So that one has been being stored for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna have two areas here. If I really wanted, I could have 3 or 4 areas, or sorry, 2 or 3 areas to store. So that should be perfect. A utility sink to be able to clean out any skimmer reactors, that I am cleaning out. And this won't be here. We're gonna have 2 mixing containers here. Now what I'm also gonna be having is the mixing station is gonna be able to fill or empty the tank to do any maintenance water changes. So when I'm emptying it, it's gonna drain back into here. When I'm filling it, we're gonna have a hose reel attached to probably right here. We're gonna have a pump that's gonna be pushing water all the way through here. It's about a 30-foot run right to the tank. So I'm never gonna have to carry a bucket either to the tank, away from the tank. The whole goal is to be able to make this as seamless as possible with the option to do an automatic water change. So the way I have it, I can actually do an automatic water change. What I would do to run the lines for the automatic water change, I don't know if you guys have seen the little covers or shrouds for like cord management. I would do the same thing, but for an RODI, all I would have to do is run it all along that wall. And then this wall right here is where the washer and dryer are. So I would need to route the RODI under here, above there, and then we can punch right into the wall. And pretty much everything we need is right behind that wall there. If I wanted to get super crazy, what I could do is put a furniture piece here, because this is like a recessed wall right in the entrance. I can actually put a furniture piece to hide, some connections to do the water changes from this location going straight over to the tank. The good thing, guys, is I have a lot of options on what exactly I'm going to be doing, and I'm really excited. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I know you guys haven't heard from me. I've been really busy moving, really busy getting everything situated, but I'm happy to sit. And this is another thing. I now got a pool to maintain. That's a whole nother learning curve on itself. Checking the total chlorine, the hardness, the alkalinity, the pH, the stabilizer. That was a whole nother learning curve. It's not as hard as reef tanks, but of course you do also have to take care of it. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys an update on what's to come, what you guys can expect. I'm really excited to share with you guys this journey. It's gonna be great. I think you guys are gonna be very excited. I know last time some of you guys were bummed out that I didn't do a bigger tank on the upgrade, but this time, trust me, it's gonna be worth the wait. So I thank each and every one of you very much for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below. As always, happy reefing.